time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys. So as you know, we're back to talk about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the two-part reunion, which, guys, it's never been more apparent that we need her back ever in my life. Because even though I love these four, the Friends of, it's just not doing it for me. So we have a lot to discuss. We're coming on with So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. Ryan has a fun announcement getting ahead of the Vanderpump Rules premiere, season 10, which is coming next week. And then, of course, we have the Real Housewives of New Jersey premiere as well. So there's lots to talk about, lots to discuss. But while we wait for Ryan Bailey, I just sent him the new link. So go ahead and rate this episode, part 2 of the reunion, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. And I'm so nervous here because I feel like there's not, thank God. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't even know if you guys have another season. I feel like they were about to get Dallased. And then, of course, we have Whitney Rose, who came out and said, oh, well, just wait, because it looks like we have some new faces coming in, some new old faces. Okay, so obviously that's only one person, unless it's the Sarah girl who ended up getting caught at the Capitol riots. I doubt it's her. I don't think Bravo would ever employ her. She was the one who walked in the first season at Jen's birthday, and she's like, happy birthday. And Jen's like, it's not my birthday. It's Meredith's birthday. And she's like, oh, well, whatever. That girl, there's no way with everything that came out on social media about her that she would ever be on the show. So that just leaves Mary Cosby. And what they're saying right now is that Mary Cosby most likely would join as a friend of. She wants to come in as a friend of, and most people were questioning, well, how the hell is she going to come in as a friend of if the simple fact is she never showed up to the reunion? Okay, that's a great point. But she said that she never showed up to the reunion because she was uncomfortable with Jenny Wynn because of her racist tweets, her racist Facebook messages, and for throwing a glass at her. So she was able to say to Bravo, Andy Cohen, and the network, she was able to come out and say, hey, listen, I felt uncomfortable. This obviously got proven right. Look at her posts. You guys ended up firing her. And Bravo right now, I'm sure that they're grasping for straws trying to save a franchise that they've dumped so much money into. And they're like, oh, okay, no, you're right. You're right. She did all of these things. We caught her for the post. You've been saying this the whole time. So yes, we can absolutely bring you guys back. I'm going to hear what you guys rated this. Hold on. 5.5, 1.3, 5.5. Elaine Hargate, don't forget to hit that like button. Yes, we have Ryan Bailey in the room. We're about to bring him up. A 4, a 5, 2. Let's ask Ryan Bailey. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button, and let's welcome So Bad It's Good, or Ryan, we made it, Bailey. Is that what it is? Good morning.
We made it through the end of the season. We did it, everybody.
What a lackluster season.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm really glad it's over. I'm ecstatic it's over.
I'm ready for our Vanderpump
more
Rules
questions
in Jersey
than it answers anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm ready for Summer House too.
I mean, honestly, what was the storyline this season?
Well, I mean, they wanted to do a bunch of different storylines, and they didn't really end up doing any of the storylines. So you had Whitney, who uncovered, assault in her background, supposedly in her childhood. That never really got filled in. You had Lisa Barlow with the blowies for jazz tickets, which we never really got a lot of answers for. You got Jen Shaw, which we never really got answers from the show. We got some answers from the actual court case. You had Meredith and her storyline of her and her nephew. But I guess that's not really it. And her main storyline was being mad at Lisa Barlow for the hot mic moment. But that was her main storyline. And then Lisa Barlow had a storyline with her son saying fudge college. And Heather Gay just kind of completely changed personalities and she wrote a book. Those are the storylines. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, sorry. And then you had Angie H's husband doing the fake Instagram account, and Angie K paying for Jen Shaw's coach's birthday party to get on the show. And those are the storylines.
Since you brought up Jen Shaw, what were your thoughts when we first found out that Jen and Coach were asking friends to help out with legal bills?
It was another really sad... Oh, hi, everybody. It was another really sad it was another really sad thing for me because, listen, like Heather said last night, they're paying $15 million in restitution. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 6 million of that was already, they paid up front. So if they were asking for help with their legal fees, that was when they were still proclaiming their innocence. So if they were sitting on that kind of money and proclaiming their innocence, they should have used that money that they had socked away instead of asking their friends. And I thought, wow, just one last con to get you through the door is, I mean, to me that was really shocking information, but also like, Angie H trying to buy her guilty feelings away. I don't know. It was all sad. That was really sad to me. And it was another kind of like, wow, you had the balls to ask friends for money. That just really, I'm shocked that email, if there was an email going around, I'm shocked that never got out.
Yeah, and I also feel like for Angie H, it kind of comes across like she's willing to do anything because they have a lot of money. We understand that, but it seems like she's willing to do anything and sort of buy her way into the group. I think she's a nice woman, but I think Teddy Mellencamp's a nice woman. I don't think Teddy Mellencamp's great TV.
Yeah. Do you know how many people I
think
think are nice that I don't want to see on TV? Like, I mean, like,
yeah,
I think, it was another shocking thing, but I guess it really shouldn't be that shocking to any of us anymore, If that makes sense. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is just kind of what they seem to do.
Another thing that I thought was a little like funny, and I'm like, this is what's going to offend you, was when Seth and Meredith were on the couch on one side and Lisa and John were on the other side. And he's like, listen, I never said anything about your wife, but you said something about rubbing two quarters together and making fun of her saying that she's the richest one. I'm like, yeah, that's some pretty cotton candy digs here, friend. That's not like, you don't have a smoking gun.
And even Andy, when he brought the guys out, he was like, don't worry, we're going to make this as painless as possible. I mean, it was just really like a paint by numbers reunion. And I know they had last minute hiccups because of Jen Shaw, but I think that's like a perfect example of this entire season. It's just wrecked. It's just a mess. It's all broken. And of course we got news yesterday that Mary Cosby is coming back in a friend of capacity. And I was saying, on my show today, I was just like, they're starting filming in 2 weeks. I think you need to give it way more time than 2 weeks. I think this show needs a little more thought and care put into it. If you're going to get, I thought it's a really viable show. I think you need to now really, take some care into all the mistakes that have been made on this show. And you kind of need to regain and I know this might sound silly, regain the viewers' trust, because Salt Lake especially has a credibility problem right now. And that says a lot for a Bravo show. But this show, I feel like we've just admitted that most of the things that we watch on this show in particular are lies. Jen Shaw says it's all characters. These are all set up characterizations. And then we don't really see a lot of the storylines. And I'm sorry, I still don't buy last night. Meredith, her excuse even for why she changed so, 180 on Jen Shaw and how she handles her was because of Jen Shaw's attempt on her, to unalive herself, which is completely like really tragic. But at the same time, that still really is so murky for me in how Meredith completely changed her tune on Jen. Like, it still is so murky for me. And the Heather stuff as well. So I left feeling so unsatisfied this season, more so than any other Bravo show this year. And that includes Beverly Hills.
And I wonder if Bravo or Andy won't let them bring up Jenny Wynn, because the real reason that Meredith and Jen ever got back together in the first place was obviously they bonded over going over to Jenny's house after those posts surfaced. And they finally sat there at the table together with her, berating her for hours. And then finally she ended up coming out and saying, yes, it was me. It wasn't my social media manager. But they didn't show that. And I feel like Bravo wanted to tuck that under because they didn't want, the longer we go without talking about Jenny Wynn, then the more likely it is that viewers forget and it never actually happened. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up really quick though, since we're talking about Jenny Wynn. What do you think about the potential return of Mary Cosby? Because I was reading on Twitter where people were like, well, that's not fair. She didn't attend the reunion. She can't show up. She's not allowed to come back. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, hold on. She had some pretty valid points though. She said she didn't attend the reunion because she felt like Jenny was okay with fostering a hostile, racist environment, and she was all about that. That was who she was to her core, and she threw a glass at me. So I don't want to be in the presence of somebody who I don't feel comfortable with. And that was such a good way for her to get out of it and be able to be like, what are you going to say to that, Bravo? Where Bravo can still keep the door open. But I also feel like Bravo needs Mary Cosby right now because the show sucks.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's never it's never good even in scripted television when you start using stunt casting. That's what they call it in scripted television when, like they'll have a, Will and Grace or How I Met Your Mother would do that a lot of times. Like, remember when Britney Spears was on How I Met Your Mother? It was like those things of like, it's called stunt casting. And that's what they're doing now is like, okay, the fans keep asking for Mary Cosby. We don't really like her, but we'll put her in this like friend of role. And that way we get good publicity on the heels of the worst season of Salt Lake yet. And hopefully that will fix everything. But I think and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because I do like Mary Cosby, but remember everybody where we were with Mary Cosby last season. And also to Mary Cosby, remember where you were last season. Remember where Jen Shaw was. Remember that when you're on TV, you're going to get a spotlight shined on all of your businesses, on all of your relationships. And I really am shocked that Mary Cosby wants to come. Oh, by the way, great new set, dude. I like your new sorry.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Sorry,
We're waiting on some more lights that are being delivered today, but right now we're in the dark. It's okay.
No, I love it. But anyways, I just think Mary is going to be great in small doses, but she's not a fixer either because nobody even really wanted to do scenes with Mary Cosby or like most of her scenes were in her closet with her mannequin heads, which by the way, I loved. I think she is such a great solo artist, but you're going to just go back into that same territory where they already tried it. And we kind of, as a Bravo audience, we kind of have this collective amnesia where we're like, yes, it was perfect with Mary Cosby. It solved everything. And it's like, that's not true. And the ladies really bristled at her. Like Whitney and Meredith kind of would give her chances here and there. But also, Mary Cosby doesn't exist on the same plane that we do. She doesn't think in the same way. So you couldn't have a real logical conversation with her only like 30% of the time. So she's not going to really, I mean, she might get some good barbs in, but also I don't want any mention of Jen Shaw next season. I want it done. I don't want to see her go to prison. Like supposedly they start filming a couple days before she goes to prison. I really hope Bravo cuts ties completely. And, that's a sinking ship, and you do not need to start your season with somebody that wouldn't even show up for the third part of the reunion.
I feel like, too, I don't think that they'll film Jen going into the new season, especially if she put out that statement about the one-on-one. Yeah. But one of the things that I've received a few DMs about this, not a lot, but people were like, Adam, you went and talked to Mary's parents. And, so many people, YouTubers, podcasters, and bloggers were bringing up her family members who were alleging that her church was a cult. And you guys are the ones who ran Mary Cosby off. I'm like, I didn't go to her church. You signed up for Housewives. The hell are you talking? I mean, I did go to her church. I stood outside, but then it was very uncomfortable because there was a woman who was outside and she's like, hi, can I help you? And I was like, oh, yes, this is the church from Salt Lake City Housewives. And she's like, do people really care about that? And she said, yeah, I go to this church. And I was like, oh, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. And then she's like, what's your name? And I gave her the wrong name because I didn't want anybody to know why I was in town. And that was for Mary Cosby's parents. And she said, oh my gosh, yes, I can't wait to get our Mary back. Mary will rise again. And I was like, not rise again. Rise again?
Well, well, rise again, though. Remember, this is just a friend of role. I'll be interested to see how much they use Mary. And I guess, of course, it'll depend on how much she brings it in those first scenes. But I just think like a friend of role, it could be just, I think a lot of it's just to appease us, the fans, because I think they got a unheralded amount of like, this show is ridiculous at this point, and they really are trying to save, not a huge moneymaker, but they're trying to save a viable property they can attach commercials to. I just think the problem is they're not taking some real time to really think about it, because I think if you think about it, I don't really even know how much. Like, where else do we go with Heather Gay at this point? Like, where else? And if we know somebody is self-producing that much, like Heather Gay, even in the reunion, like she just, the Mormon shame bit just like still was like, wow, like you're treating us like idiots. Like Mormon shame, like you have Mormon shame over the black eye, which you will not really, you have such shame, but you do not have such shame really about like getting completely naked and rubbing your tatas up against Jen Shah's. Like that is fine, but the Mormon shame really is about the black eye, and she is in therapy about the black eye, not about the rubbing of the tatas. And I think that's just such a weird thing when you're talking about. And also, did you see that thing, Adam, where she said the Mormon church is suing her? That's not right. The Mormon church is suing because she's using the phrase bad Mormon, which goes up against their copyright. It's nothing to do, like, if the book was titled Heather Gay, My Life in the Church, she would not get sued. They're suing because of the use of the word Mormon in the title. They're not suing because of the things in the book. And they're not suing for any damages or anything like that. So that was another kind of falsity, which I'm like, I want Andy to start asking these like backup questions. Like, I don't want to find this crap out on Twitter and from like bloggers and from like, I don't want to find it. It's making us that do this for a living. It's making us have to do way much more heavy lifting. And then it kind of half of the stuff that I read out there now is false. But I just think that kind of stuff that hanging out there, they just let Heather say anything and then people believe it of like, oh, wow, the Mormon church is the secrets in this book are shocking.
Right. Well, and then,
sorry, I'm going off today. I'm pissed.
No. I'm here for it. Elaine asked, what do we really think happened to Heather this season? I honestly think, I don't think anybody put their hands on her. I think that she got drunk, and this is what I've heard from other people who are around the cast or in the cast, whatever. Not going to out anyone, but she got drunk. She hit her face. She's embarrassed by it. So it's easy to run with this narrative of I'm not confirming that I got too drunk and I fell over and hit my face, and I'm not confirming that I got punched in the face, which really...
Adam, to like have a investigation to put other people's jobs at risk that work on the show that you're friends with, that's really taking it to a next level of like, either you think somebody like pounded you or you realize you were wasted and you could have fell. You know how easy it is to say, oh, I was wasted, I probably fell. Like, you wanted an investigation that brought your other people that work behind the scenes in the spotlight and possibly fired. To me, that's like a bridge too far. And for somebody that's like supposed to be the nice person of the group that everybody loves, you don't treat other people that you work with. Remember, there's a crew of people that they've worked with now for 3 seasons behind the scenes. And I just think that was like, that's like just like, wow. And you let Jen Shah lie on this show with impunity. You let all of these things happen. But this, I don't know. It just, that was kind of like, I'm really curious to see where Heather Gay goes from here.
Don't you think it's kind of like, I feel like Bravo needs to start implementing something like, first, I feel like there's a double standard here. Kenya Moore went and got married off camera to Mark Daly. When she did, Bravo got pissed off at her and they said, okay, you're not coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. You can take a season off. Remember, they weren't happy with her. But then over here, we have Robin Dixon, who's allowed to get married off camera. She's allowed to sell the whole cheating story on Patreon. She doesn't talk about it at the reunion from what we're hearing. She didn't talk about it on the
that's
show.
Egregious. That's even, see, this is what happens when these housewives think they like really, Bravo needs to start instituting some real tough rules, and it's going to include social media, and it's like either you want to be on this show or you don't, but you can't have a whole other storyline that happens on social media and nowhere near the show. Because the storyline that happens off social media makes all the stuff on the show completely, like, it makes us look like idiots. Like, oh, we're just watching fake storylines completely. Like, you're just allowed to lie. You're allowed to make other people look stupid. And I don't even dislike Robin. Like, I just kind of am shocked that it went this far where she put it behind a paywall. And that's the shocking part of it to me, was like, the cheating and all of that stuff doesn't shock me. But I think, why, if you sign up for a reality show, put it on the reality show where you're paid to be on. That reality show helped you out of financial hardships with the house. It helped you, it helped you so much. And you're going to kind of like go, well, you know what? I'm going to cherry pick what I put on that show. And Giselle, by the way, did the same thing a couple seasons ago with Jamal. Like, we still don't have the real truth about when they rekindled their relationship, yet there was proof that he was dating other women.
Can I say, if you're Alexia Echevarria from the Real Housewives of Miami and you have the gay husband who passed away, you have everything going on with your family, you're getting married, you were on Cocaine Cowboys, you're on these docuseries, you were married to a drug lord. Like, if you have that many storylines and you decide to leave something off to the side and maybe make us think about it a little bit. Okay, sure. If you're Robin Dixon, and nothing against Robin, she is the Teddy Mellencamp of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and I always use Teddy as a good reference because I find Teddy to be the most boring housewife ever. But she we have Robin, who has absolutely no storyline. She's literally just attached to the hip. She's like, is it an appendage? Is that what it means when there's something on your body?
Something attached. Yeah. I have
she's
many.
Like an appendage of Giselle.
Yeah.
And then what we're doing is Bravo. Everyone's picking this up because Giselle has Robin to lean on, so she's not really making any real relationships. She just gets to drop bombs, put her hands behind her back, and say, I didn't throw any rocks. And I feel like for Heather Gay, we're getting an element of this too. And I find the Housewives becoming a little bit too comfortable with not actually sharing what's going down when in the past, that's exactly what we got. You're getting paid to be on the biggest platform of your life, but yet we're going to take it to social media because guess what? Bravo's not taking a piece of that. What?
Well, everybody's getting a real big head on Housewives, and everybody's thinking they're way smarter than they are. And I'll even bring Rinna into this of like Rinna, like, you know, trying to everybody's trying to overdo it or undersell it or tell like just don't share their real lives, so they'll try to put attention on something else. It's gotten really, really bizarre, and I think that's just a product of how successful these shows are. But at the same hand, we do have to go like, yo, these shows, they're not promised to us. They might not be popular forever. If you continually lie to your audiences, we will get an exhaustion and kind of a, you know what, my time is better placed elsewhere. And what I keep saying on my show is that I like, if I'm going to be lied to, I'll just watch scripted storytelling. I'll watch just complete fiction because there's so much good TV on right now. But Bravo, they're really kind of hitting this. It's really just kind of a bad road right now that I hope that I think they realize it, but I don't know if they know how to combat it, because we're like, when they started these shows, social media wasn't a thing. And now social media is the thing, but we're having like, even on Ultimate Girls Trip, Adam, all the stuff with Caroline and Brandy, that show won't even come out for a year and a half. And they've already ruined probably the bigger moment on the show now. And so, okay, so now we already have that ruined for us. And it takes the fun out of it for an audience in a sense. Or the more fun part is us finding out what's happening behind the scenes. We're almost addicted to the spilling of the tea rather than just watching these shows and then having somewhat intelligent conversations based on these shows, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And I also feel like, too, this is the exact reason that I stopped watching TLC's 90 Day Fiancé, because we already knew what was going to happen. So this is like, you're ruining it for us. I'll give Jersey a pass with all of the Teresa, Melissa, Louis, Joe drama, because I still want to see how we know that they're going to fight. They fight every season. So I want to know what was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I would love to see that unfold. But the whole kissing thing from Ultimate Girls Trip, like you said, it's going to be a year until we get that. And I'm wondering if Bravo feels like they're giving us these little moments to get us super excited. It's like a teaser, but it's like when you get one of those movie trailers, I don't know, for fucking Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Yeah. And they give you like the most explosive moments. Yeah. And then the rest of it is just filler. And it's like, oh, I got your ass. Like, that's what it feels like. Well, but I mean,
but think about this. Like, you know, I was reading the comment section about, and by the way, hi, Maritza. We were Miami is killing it this season, right? Miami's amazing. But think about one of the most popular scenes in Miami this season. It's the hot mic moment with Lenny. It's a moment that Lenny tried to not have on camera. In fact, there's a great article written about this where they really didn't know they had that hot mic moment until they were going through footage, and then they realized, oh my God, listen to this. But that's another thing of like, listen, Lenny wasn't going to share this on screen. They lucked upon that moment. And just remember, so you got even husbands like sneaking around, hiding things. And so now it's making these like producers and the directors behind these cameras, like their job's even tougher, because every one of these people that have signed up to have their lives on film do not want to have their lives on film. They're actively whispering, they're pulling people aside. And that's the hard thing, is how in this day and age where there's such a magnifying glass on all entertainment, do we really get the truth anymore? And I think it's kind of like these productions have to really jump through hurdles, you know?
No, I totally agree. And I also think on top of that, like the hot mic moments, I read that article too. Wasn't it one of the executives who said that she feels like her producers are like ferrets because they can get in and out and they like find things? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I saw that too, and I thought that that was pretty cool because there are some moments where we're like, I don't know about that. Like when they called Dr. Wendy Osefo's moment a hot mic moment, talking about Mia this season, I'm like, and the cancer thing, that's not really like the craziest hot mic moment. But yes, I love that because those are the authentic moments. You know, I had a conversation with Kelly Dodd when I was doing the interview with her and Rick.
I'm so sorry, bud.
No, she's... Listen, I'm telling you, if you went out with her, you would probably have the best time. But
no, by the way, I'm sure like she's a lot of fun. I am violently opposed to most of the things that she says. I'm sure she's fun. I mean, by the way, I'm sure she's way funner than Freddie Mellencamp. I mean, I'm not, I'm sure Jen Shaw is one of the funner people you'll ever hang out with. Sorry.
Are you queuing to me?
No, I just said no. I'm just saying, like, these people, I'm sure they're fun in real life. Like, I watched Jen Shaw dancing at BravoCon like you did. She seemed like a lot of fun. She was having a blast.
Yeah. No, and Kelly made a good point. She's like, because so many women now, because the Housewives have pivoted, and I wondered about this with Caroline Manzo going into Ultimate Girls Trip because she's so old school Jersey housewife in a time where it was all so raw, and then she navigated into a new reality show with her family, right? So then she hasn't been around this game. And Brandi Glanville has been one of the best to kind of explain what it's like being out of it and then being put back into it and how much it's changed, where they say to her, like, hey, can you say that again? Can you repeat that? And she's like, what? I don't want to repeat. I'm not an actress. And I feel like new housewives coming on, they feel like they have to be actresses. And then I also feel like producers are pushing for these inauthentic moments. And what Kelly Dodd said was, it's so much more entertaining and interesting to see the drama off camera that goes on with the cast and production and all of breaking the fourth wall than it actually is putting a bunch of girls together and saying, like, do you not fucking thank my husband for his sauce?
But Adam, that's because... You have to take it back from the beginning. That's because the casting isn't genuine anymore. They're not getting real friend groups anymore. They're getting like, oh, we're casting over here, so we pulled this lady from over here, and she kind of knows because she was in the same mall as this other lady 3 months ago, so they kind of know each other. Like they're not real relationships where if you think about OC, there was a couple ladies that genuinely knew each other. I think the reason that Miami works right now is those ladies are actually, you could tell the real relationships are there. Like Marisol and Alexia, you might disagree with some of the things they say, but you can't deny there's a real relationship there. Also, I was thinking about those hot mic moments. I think we're one season away from these housewives faking hot mic moments. They're going to start faking them to have moments,
I agree with that 100%. It's like now I feel like they're trying to continue to reinvent the wheel. And then you have, for example, I know people aren't going to like this answer, but like I'm going to give you some iconic reality TV people here. Like Lisa Vanderpump, amazing. Ramona Singer, until everything happened at the end. She was very entertaining. Stassi Schroeder, that moment where she said, I would like to wrap a bat in acid and stick it. It's like, what? You can't say that shit. But these were authentic moments because they didn't really know what was going on. So it made it so much more fun to watch. Whereas like now I feel like we're putting cameras in your face and it's like, okay, go. And they're like, oh, okay, I rehearsed this for like the first.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a bitch. What?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I was saying this. I was like, we've got to get to the point that my favorite type of casting are the people that don't need the show and don't even necessarily want to be on the show, but they wind up on the show. And that's why it like takes some really, really good casting directors. And I will argue almost to a point that I think Kathy Hilton is one of those people. Kathy Hilton kind of works because she's able to say bizarre shit. She also probably is another example of somebody that doesn't tell the full truth, but she also doesn't need the show. And she doesn't really necessarily want to be on the show, even though she likes the adulation, and I think she's getting more used to that. But she came from a place of not needing it. And if you can come from a place of not needing something, you're going to be so much more entertaining on this show. That's also why I don't think Kelly Dodd should ever be back on the show, because I feel like she needs the show. You know how badly she needs the show even when she talks about the show, because that's all she does with her time off. And I don't want people like that. I don't want people that eat, live, and breathe housewives. I think, Adam, we would be horrible on shows like this because all we do is think about it. We would be horrible. I don't want anybody that's getting around there talking about the moves like it's a football team. Like all Kelly does is talk about other housewives. I don't want that. No, I want to know what's going on in your life.
I have to kind of play devil's advocate here a little bit because we got Diana Jenkins also on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills who did not give a shit and did not need the pay. And I think what happens here, the one thing I will agree with Freddie Mellencamp on, 2 T's in a pod. I can't believe you call her Freddie Mellencamp, but she said sometimes you do need. It's her name now. Now, today, it is Freddie Mellencamp. But she made a good point. She's like, we need women who are hungry, who will fight for the check, who need to pay their bills. Because sometimes when you get these women who have all of the money, then they don't show up to watch What Happens Live. They don't show up to reunions. They don't do the after show. They don't give a shit. They can say, I'm on bed rest. Like, I don't need to be here. But this
Adam,
is why
what you're saying is like, no, we don't need people to fight for the paycheck. That's what she thinks. We need people that show up real, that are potentially kind of like intense people to begin with. We don't need people coming in going, I need to start fights. I need to get going. No, that's another kind of thing that rings hollow. Like, then it's just like, we know you're coming on to stir the pot. Like, that stuff has led us down a really dark path that I don't think is good for the overall health of these franchises. It's good because we say stirring the pot and spilling the tea and all of this stuff, but long term, it then just rings really hollow of like, oh, that's your thing, right? Like, I can't have a real conversation with you because you're just looking to stir the pot. You know how, like, the Lisa Barlow hot mic moment is so good because it's so real. She's not trying, like, she's literally just livid. She's literally just, like, at a place where she's insane, saying the most real, intense stuff that she still has not been forgiven for. And she would not have done that, on camera. Like, I mean, I think she really like was totally disassociating and just had a breakdown, but that's the kind of reality that I'm like, that's to me is fascinating because it rings completely real.
Yeah.
No, I agree. True.
Then, for like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City too, I hope that this was a huge learning curve for Heather Gay because now the fans are so pissed off at her. And I'm curious to see how these women end up navigating future seasons. I feel like all 4 of our main snowflake holders are definitely safe. Like, these guys, safe. We know that. They don't have a show already, so they're not going to get rid of them. I feel like we bridge the gap. At least that's what Meredith is calling it. We bring in Mary Cosby. We get some funny Ramona-isms out of her. And then after that, we bring in, I think we scrap all 3 friends and we bring in 2 new housewives who are dynamic, explosive, and wealthy. But we'll see. Yeah. I mean,
listen, it's gonna happen regardless of what we say or not. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just really curious. It seems like Bravo is on this timetable thing where they need to make sure they get this product in by a certain time. Because think about how HBO runs their shows. Remember, like Sopranos, they would take like 2 years in between seasons because like guy David Chase, who created it, was really trying to like. He's like, I'm really trying to get inspired. I'm really trying to make something good. And I just don't think NBC Universal, the parent company of Bravo, isn't going to be, they're not sitting there going, how can we make Salt Lake the best it's ever been? They're like, how can we make a show where we can put commercials all around it and we can make our money? And that's like, they're like, Bravo, you better do your job. But it's like, I think there's a timetable issue too, where they're not really being able to really think about what would make this show good. And I read a comment a little bit ago saying Mary is not stunt casting. I disagree with you. You say the fans love her. The fans do love her, but that essentially is stunt casting. That's what stunt casting is. Like Tamra is stunt casting. It's bringing somebody back that is not a new person of the show because it gets the ratings and it gets people that are upset with the show back into the show. That is stunt casting. It's not a slam on Mary Cosby. It's not anything like that, but it's taking a name, it's taking a property that we all kind of have very strong opinions on and bringing them back to steer away conversation from the actual show itself. There's no kind of slam against Mary Cosby in that, but it is essentially stunt casting.
Yeah. I mean, it would be the same thing.
Disagree.
Like when they're talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and potentially bringing back Lisa Vanderpump, that would be like, I guess, essentially the same thing, right? Stunt casting.
Kind of. Well, yeah. I mean, but now there's that thing is it's essentially they really do rely on these shows now of bringing back the OGs. Like even in Beverly Hills, that's all we keep talking about now of like, is Lisa going to come back? Is Vanderpump going to come back? And that, when it does happen, that'll be really exciting for a lot of the people that have been wanting it for so long. But it's at the sacrifice of potential long-term health by bringing in a new woman that might just blow everything up. I still believe that there are new, exciting women out there that we have not met. And there has to be. Like, come on. Like, we know such amazing women in our ordinary lives. They've got to, I know they're out there. Like, I think casting just really needs to dig and really, I don't know. I know there's got to be amazing women. Listen, I love the first 2 seasons of Salt Lake and they had amazing women. I just think by the 3rd season, it seems to have all fallen apart.
Yeah, what the happened? Well, guys, obviously we know that Salt Lake City season 3 was sort of a bust. I mean, not sort of, it really was a bust. But like we said, we have 2 exciting franchises coming next week. The Real Housewives of New Jersey season 13 is going to be absolutely explosive. And Vanderpump Rules season 10, I think, is going to be keeping us talking for months. I mean, there's so many different shifts in the dynamics. But speaking of Vanderpump Rules...
Did you watch the first episode?
The first 7 minutes. Did you watch the full first episode?
I did, yeah.
Did you get it sent to you?
Yeah. Well, it just no, it's just because. Well, I mean, it's just because of the show next week, the premiere party and stuff like that we're doing.
Yeah, super smart. Yeah, so I was excited about that, and I wanted you to promote that. But then also, I just found out this week that I'm going to be coming in town to LA to do some stuff with a few of the cast members from Vanderpump Rules, and hopefully we get together and
yeah, definitely we'll
scream
it up. We'll I'll just scream about Salt Lake to you from in person.
Sir?
Anywhere. I'll scream at you anywhere. We can do that at any location. We can do it Schwartz and Sandy's. We can do it at
You're like, you want to go to La Cienega and La Brea. You want to go to Wilshire. You want to go to the Beverly Center. I don't care. Yeah.
We'll go to Schwartz's old apartment.
So 1 to 10, give us your rating for the premiere episode for Vanderpump Rules, 10 being the highest.
I think it's a solid 7, 8.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it brought back a lot of, there's a lot of funny moments. There is some stuff that I was like, oh, wow, I'm glad they're being honest about this in regards to DJ James Kennedy. There's a lot of really good potential. And they start the season like they start the preview with the Katie and Schwartz splitting up, and it's real. I don't know. It really is good. I mean, there's a couple Peter Madrigal moments, which I was like cracking up about. There's some really good stuff where you're like, this could be a really, really fun, dramatic season. And, it's light on Lisa Vanderpump, which I think is a smart move. And it kind of sets everything up in this really good, fun way. I don't know. I have great hopes for it. I know it has a lot to live up to because people are like, last season, but I think it's potentially there. This is one of the original shows I love. So I have such hope for it. I really enjoyed watching it. I watched it with a smile on my face. And so I hope people dig it.
Yeah. Did we touch on this is the only question I'll ask about it, but on the premiere, did we touch on Lala and Randall at all yet?
Yes. Yeah, but not in a really specific way, but also in a way of like Lala potentially dating again, and there's like some good Lala Schwartz. There's some good stuff in there where everybody is tethered together in some way, and there's just a lot more. There's a lot more to be explored. It's hard with these shows because you're like, oh, they're setting it up for all of this stuff, and it's like really good standalone episode. It doesn't have the explosive of a Jax. Getting busted for cheating on Brittany with Faith. It doesn't have a moment like that. Yeah. But that also is just one of those God-given surprise moments, kind of like a hot mic moment that they just happen to get in that first week of filming. So it doesn't have that, but it has some really good stuff.
Shit. All right. And then when are you doing that? Excited. Because you're... Okay, so
yeah, you guys, this is... if you like Vanderpump Rules, or if you like me in any sort of way... we're doing a live digital event with Moment. They're this awesome company that does all these digital events that you've probably seen, but we're going to do a Vanderpump Rules season 10 premiere party the day after the premiere. So the premiere is next Wednesday. This party is going to be Thursday. And Ariana and Tom Sandoval will be there. We got the Talk of Shame, Kiki Monique. We got some surprises in store. There's even like a little after party you can do online as well. You can watch it live with us, or you can. You have 2 weeks to watch it once you purchase it. Tickets are insanely cheap. It's $10, and then if you're a Patreon member, it's $5. So it's going to be next week. I believe it's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is a little late, but it's going to be just a really madcap hour. It's going to talk about the premiere of Vanderpump Rules. We're going to have some games. I'm going to do some insane things. There'll be Tom and Ariana, Kiki, So Bad It's Good Family. So there's going to be a lot of there's gonna be a lot of insanity. And I think if you don't have anything to do next Thursday, or if you want to even watch it you can watch it as many times as you want for 2 weeks after that. This will never be on the podcast. It'll never be on YouTube. So this is kind of its own thing. So if you want to celebrate Vanderpump Rules, or even come on and complain about the episode, come on and complain about it with us. We will be here, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Hell yeah. All right. Oh, you muted yourself.
I really hate promoting myself. That's what I was saying. I feel like a douche every time I promote myself, but I hope some of you guys will come.
Yeah, no, definitely. Everybody for sure show up. And then, Ryan, make sure to text me that link so I can put it in the description of this video for people who are watching the replay.
Oh, yes.
And then,
well, you guys, it's moment.co/SBIG. So bad it's good. Moment.co/SBIG.
okay, let me bring this up really quick. All right, guys, so it's right here. Make sure to go over there and get your tickets. That way you can celebrate with Ryan, some of his friends, and of course, Tom and Ariana. I never know how to say it. Is it Ariana? Is it Ariana? I asked her. She said you can say it however you want. It still was never a definitive answer, but I cannot wait to see her this upcoming week. And Ryan, hopefully we get to bump into each other.
Yeah, dude, we got it. Hopefully we get to see each other. I would love that.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be in town.
We need a picture for the gram. Come on.
A picture for the gram. I'll be in town Monday and Tuesday. So in town for the premiere.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
But
I'll be waiting outside the premiere just with a sign that says Jack's forever.
Oh God, you're gonna be like the guy with the sign?
Yeah, I'll be the guy with the sandwich board, like just woo! Yeah, passing out flyers outside.
God. Oh God, here we go. And Ryan, if they don't know, will you let them know where can they find you?
It's called So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. We do shows 5 days a week pretty much, but we also do a lot of them on YouTube. So you can just go to our YouTube, So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey, subscribe. There are a lot of videos up there with a lot of cool people. So yeah, there's so many ways to check us out. Patreon is patreon.com/So Bad It's Good. We'll be recapping exclusively Summer House over there starting in a week and a half. So if you love Summer House, we're going to be recapping it on there and not the main feed. Vanderpump Rules will be recapping on the main feed, and I do kind of big recaps. So I can't wait for this season.
Sweet. All right, Ryan. Well, happy Thursday to you. Sending you all the best. I will hopefully see you in just a few short days. And guys,
yeah, text me later, dude.
Go over to So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey and get fucking subscribed. We'll post it in the description of this video where you can find Ryan, and also moment.co/SBIG.
And also let me know if you and Jason want to come on the show. Whenever you want to come on the show, let me know. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you do want to come on the pod. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye,
Sorry
Ryan.
for complaining so much. Bye.
No. All right, guys. Well, always so much fun with Ryan Bailey. I thought it was great because I knew that he was doing this Vanderpump Rules premiere party. So I thought that would be a lot of fun to come on and talk about. While I'm in Los Angeles, I will be getting some behind the scenes for you guys because it's such a fun time to celebrate. Obviously, the Vanderpump Rules cast and everybody surrounding it feels like family to Jason and I, and we've been around them for a long time. So I think it's super appropriate that we jump in the right way. Now, we will be posting more pre-records throughout the day. Of course, we're coming back tomorrow for the Real Housewives of Miami recap and also hot, messy topics because we didn't get to do that this week because we were moving. We're going to get our lighting fixed. Don't worry. And I love you guys so much. Don't forget to smash that like button, get subscribed, hit that notification bell, and go vote.